Hey guys, it's your girl Mac. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my channel. This is Mac Reviews. I do reviews of 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup, and some scripted shows like Black Lightning. When Star Trek Discovery comes back, I might start reviewing that. Right now, we don't know when it's coming back, but anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for joining me. I am going to be talking about 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, season 2, episode 2 that came on last night. So let's get right into it. Oh, and also you can follow me on Twitter at Mac Reviews. I will be getting on Instagram. I mean, I set up an Instagram, but I haven't posted anything on it yet. And then I do want to do a Facebook group as well. So I'll let you guys know when I get those up and running. But right now it's at Mac Reviews on Twitter. I did live tweet last night. It was hilarious. So I'm going to try to live tweet. All right. So now let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about Brittany, and I don't know if it's Yazin or Yazan. So I'm just gonna say Yazin because that's easier for me. Yazan takes more effort. I don't know. Well, I'll see next week how the real proper pronunciation of it is. So Brittany is getting ready to fly to Jordan. She's drinking. I don't know. She's getting out of the way because she knows when she gets there, she's not gonna be able to drink as much. So her dad is taking her there. I just do want to say her dad is a good looking older man. She looks just like him. Like she has his mouth, his smile. They look alike. But he's a good looking man for his age. And so yeah, so she's telling her dad, on the ride to the airport about how she hasn't told Yazin about her still being married and he thinks she's divorced. And her dad is telling her, you're going to have to tell him that. And he even said in his confessional to the producers that, he doesn't see why she didn't tell him beforehand or not even just tell him, but why she didn't take care of the divorce, why she didn't get divorced beforehand. So he's probably already told her that she should have done that already in the past. So, and he's smiling, and even people on Twitter were like, "Oh, it's unsettling. Why is he smiling?" And I'm like, I think to me it's evident, and I guess that became more evident toward the end that he probably is one of those people that smiles when he's nervous or uncomfortable. And I think that's what was going on. He was nervous and uncomfortable for his daughter. Go out to a place where if something happens, he can't immediately come and help her. And she even said that. She said when her dad is a little uncomfortable, he just smiles. She said that on the first episode. So I think that was the case, and it kind of pulled at my heartstrings. I think he was just concerned about her and what's going to happen. And, she was even saying her dad, he was a single dad and raised her and he's her support system. So she's going to miss him a lot. So, you know, it was funny. Her bag was overweight and it was because of the wig head. I was like, honey, how that wig head weighs more than 2 pounds? Like, girl. But, your wig head don't need to be cute, like really. Um, but yeah, so she's jumping off the cliff. She's going there. So then they show Yazin. He is talking to his brother, and his brother is like, "No, listen, why are you doing this? Why you can't find somebody locally?" And apparently Yasmin said the other times when she's come to see him, she did inappropriate things. So apparently she didn't dress appropriately. He said her breasts were out, short skirts, showing skin. And I was like, okay, well, did you tell her that she can't dress like that? Like, he didn't indicate if he told her, hey, you have to cover up, you can't show your skin. Because yes, some of us might research or be able to consciously say, okay, it's a Muslim culture, so but everybody's not like that. It's not savvy. So part of me was like, well, did you tell her that? And plus the other thing is like, and I'm not trying to defend like ignorance or foolishness, and I'm not calling her ignorant and foolish, but I'm saying like he's attracted to her the way she is, right? So he likes seeing her skin. He likes that because he wouldn't be talking to her. So in her mind, she's probably at the same time thinking, oh, I want to look good for him. She it, if he didn't indicate, hey, I prefer a woman to be covered up. I prefer, because that if that's what you preferred, why would you be talking to her? But anyway, so apparently, um, he said that in his town or where he is, people marry relatives, and he said his parents would prefer he marry somebody he's related to. He said his parents are related. And I was like, how related are we talking about? Like I mean, what? So now I guess we know why Yasmin is open to dating somebody outside of his realm, because he doesn't want to marry his cousin. um, so yeah. And then he told his brother, because the brother was like, what did the brother say? I don't remember. But he told his brother that she's considering converting to Islam. And I'm like, that's a bald-headed lie. No, she's not. She told you she's not. So he's straight up lying. His brother, he told her that she might be willing to convert. And I mean, she's been clear with him that she's not. So, and I mean, again, if that's what he prefers and that's what he wants, why are you not with a Muslim woman? So anyways, so again, we'll see what happens with them. I don't understand what Brittany thinks is going to happen, but yeah, we'll see. Now, next, I'm going to talk about Ariella and Binyam real quick. I think they're going to be like the least interesting couple, but they're still interesting, just interesting enough to be on the show. But they're starting to get a little more interesting after this. So Ariel is having dinner with her family, and they are asking about Binyam, and apparently he has a child from a previous, I don't remember if it was marriage or just girlfriend, and she was also American, and she had a baby by him. The child is 2.5 years old. She came there, and she apparently went back to the States, and he has not seen his child since. And I was like, what? He hasn't. Does he? He said him and the girl are not on speaking terms, and I'm like, so. But oh my gosh, oh y'all, hold up. I put. Hold on. I put lip balm on. Okay, so I swear I put lip balm on already, but anyways, so he said he's not on speaking terms with the mother of his first child, and I'm like, okay, but are you speaking to your child? How are y'all not on speaking terms? Like, you don't call, video call with your child, phone call to speak. You're like, no. So then, her family is concerned about the fact that she's Jewish and he is Ethiopian Orthodox Christian, and she didn't really say if they've had conversations about religion. She said he has some superstitious beliefs that she doesn't really gel with. But then she was like, oh, well, my baby is going to be raised Jewish. And her sister was like, okay, well, how does he feel about that? And she was like, he doesn't know. I haven't said that to him. And I was like, okay, that's his baby as well. He has a say in the religion that his child is raising. It's not like you just make that decision. Y'all need to have a conversation. But so then her father said something that I was a little uncomfortable with, but at the same time, I guess he was like, why couldn't you just found a nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn rather than an Ethiopian? And part of me was like, what you trying to say? But at the same time, like, obviously her family's gonna want her to be with someone that has the same religion as her. But at the same time, like, the look on her face, like when he said, she was kind of like, and I was like, do her parents know that she was just traveling and having fun and kicking it with this guy? Like, they're not, according to what she's told us, she wasn't looking for a relationship. and she was traveling and she met him and they were kicking it. Like she didn't say that she was looking for a relationship, that he was. It seems like this pregnancy just happened, that she just let it happen. Like, it's not like she was looking for a new husband. It's not like she was looking for a serious relationship. She even said that she wasn't. So when her father said that, I was kind of like, did she let her family know that she wasn't really in a serious relationship with this guy? That this was just, you know, so, and I think that's why she was like, because I wasn't looking for a relationship, you know? So I'm kind of looking at her dad like, okay, dad, I understand you saying that, but do you realize she wasn't really trying to be in a real relationship with this guy? And maybe he doesn't. She probably hasn't told them what she told us. Well, I guess they know now. So, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see when we finally get introduced to Beniam, what his perspective is and how he explains the previous relationship, him not communicating with his child. One moment, guys. Okay, so next, let's talk about Devin and Jihoon. We got to see Devin and Jihoon this episode. Those of you who watched season 1, you remember them. She is from Utah, I believe. Yeah, and she moved. She now is in Korea. As of like currently, well, actually, no, she's in Utah. She goes back and forth. When they taped these episodes, she was still in the U.S. and then she was in the process of moving over there permanently. Um, right now, she's in the States because for some reason she came here, and of course, because of coronavirus, a lot of countries are not letting people travel into their country, especially not the US, because as of right now, I believe we have the highest cases in the world. So it's totally understandable that there are countries that are not allowing Americans in. So she's in the US now involuntarily, but she lives in Korea with him. So we're going to be seeing that process. And so we see her doing a video call with him. She's saying that she doesn't trust him financially. She said that to the cameras. Um, her mom is, of course, concerned about the finances. And her mom said something like, oh, by the time you're 30, you should have big savings. You should have your own house. And I was like, I mean, that's nice. There are some 30-year-olds who have those things. But in America right now, there's plenty of 30-year-olds who don't. Like, I mean, I think what she really is saying, that you should be independent, or that you should have a job, you should have some money, you should have, something of your own. It may not be a house, but I mean, if you're taking care of yourself, you have some income, you have some savings, you have a 401k, something. So, but I don't know if her mother's aware that Jihoon was convicted of a crime and has no education that he's told us of, which that part I don't understand. I don't know how he doesn't have any skills or education, but maybe he does. He hasn't told us. I don't know. So she's having a conversation with him, and she's saying, "Hey, have you gotten a place for us? Have you gotten a job?" Because I think she's using some of her money to rent like a place for them for a month. But then she's saying, "Hey, you got to get a place for us after that." And he says that he got a new job, and then she's like, okay, how much are you making? And then he's like, I don't know. And I was like, you don't know? How do you not know how much you're making if you have a new job? And so then he says, oh, it's $3,000 to $4,000. And then she's like, that's not enough. And then he said like 7 to 8. And then I'm like, is he lying? Like, is he making this up? And then at the end of the show, when they're doing the previews for next week, he said, like, I haven't found a job. And so I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I understand if he's gotten he's a convict, but I don't think he served any prison time, but he had to pay back the money from, the phones. So it showed, it as a crime, like he was selling stolen phones. So my thing is, I can understand that making it harder for him to find a job, but right now, there are things you can do online, and I'm not saying it's easy, but there are things that he can do to make money. And so I don't, and I'm a person that I've worked jobs that I didn't want to work. I've done, customer service jobs, things that I didn't want to be at. And, to get to the place where I want to be, and continuing to get there. I have a better job now, 9 to 5, office job, 401k, steady, but better company, better environment. But I'm even still working to get further to where I want to be. But the point I'm just making is that sometimes you have to, work jobs that you don't want. And I had to do that, and I don't have any kids. I'm not married. He has 2 kids, technically, and a wife. So now Devin, I had to take a moment else. Devin said she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and I was like, "Girl, I don't know if that's realistic right now because, I don't know, but I know she makes money from her YouTube channel, and so she does have a YouTube channel. So maybe he probably did eventually get a job. So, but whether that was a realistic expectation to want to be a stay-at-home mom when you have a man who doesn't have an education and has um, a conviction, I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, it's not even realistic if you have a man who has a full-time job and who has skills, you know. So is that in the job? If the job is paying less than $50,000, depending on where you live in the U.S., that's it may not even be realistic for you to say that. The only time when that's realistic is maybe if you're with a man who's making 100K plus and you live in a place where that's enough for your standard of living, depending on how many children you have. Um, if you're in California, that's not enough. If you're in New York, that's not even enough 100K. If you're in maybe Tulsa, Oklahoma, maybe it's enough. But so that being a stay-at-home mom is it's kind of like. But again, I think because she has the YouTube channel, she's able to do that now. So okay, let's move on to the next couple, Kenny and Armando. So Kenny is having dinner with his children and their significant others, their friends, and apparently he hadn't told them how old Armando actually is. So he tells them, "Hey, Armando is actually 31." He thought he had told them that he was in his like mid to late 30s, so they thought he was like older. But and they were shocked. They were like dumbfounded. And one of I think his son's girlfriend was like, "He's my age," like because she was trying to break the awkward silence and the shock that everybody had. And it didn't work. It was still awkward. And so, but I commend her for trying. And then his son started kind of roasting him. He was like, "It's okay for me to date somebody that age because that's how old I am." That's not okay for you though. He was like roasting him. Um, but and his daughters started asking about, okay, oh, because I think he told them that Armando's parents don't know that he's moving and that he's going to be with a man, and so they're concerned about that, and how people are going to react to them when they're out and stuff. So his kids are concerned about that for him, and but Kenny like got emotional and he like broke down because he was like, I've dedicated my life to you guys. Like and I think he just wants to be happy. He just wants to be able to have a healthy, happy relationship and have something for himself. And that's totally understandable. And he has a right to that. He deserves that. He's raised his kids, they're adults. It's just, he's taking a risk. I don't think it's as risky for him as it is for Armando, interestingly enough. And I'm only saying that because Armando's moving away from his family. And he's bringing his daughter out of an environment that she's used to being in with her family and hoping that she's going to have this great relationship with Kenneth. Kenneth can move back to the U.S. He has, he can come back. He has his kids. He's taking a risk. But yeah, so. And he also told them that he's going to propose to Armando. So he's ready to be all in. So yeah, I mean, Kenny keeps breaking down, man. He's just showing us these emotional moments. He broke down and again, as a parent, if you spent all this time raising your kids are grown, you've given them everything you deserve. If you haven't, if you were a single parent like him, don't have a healthy relationship. So I understand him saying that. Now, people are saying that they love Kenny and Armando, and I like them. I think they are the most genuine couple since I've been watching this show, which is only like the last year or two. So I haven't seen the first several seasons, and I haven't seen a lot of the other spinoffs. But they seem very sincere. Now, I will say this: after our experience with Submit, who I'm going to talk about in a moment, I am not quick to necessarily say this person seems great. They may seem genuine, but I will reserve further judgment until we see what happens, because we saw what happened with Submit. We thought, oh, Submit loves Jenny. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like a good guy. And then he shocked all of us and turned out to be a lying swindler. Not a lying swindler, but he turned out to be lying and to have swindled Jenny and really, kind of screwed her over if you think about it. So put her in a terrible position, screw over his wife, lied to his family. I mean, it wasn't just Jenny. He lied to his parents, his wife, I mean, so so I don't want to jump to any conclusions, because we might find out that Kenny or Armando are not the greatest individuals. So we'll not the greatest, but we'll see. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. Now, Jenny and Submit. So Jenny's still being foolish. Her daughters, she's getting ready to fly to India, and she's at her one daughter's house that she's been staying at, and her other daughter comes over with her wife, and she's again. The daughter's like, "Have you gotten those divorce papers? Have you seen them yet?" And she's like, "No." And they're like, okay, even the other daughter was like, I would have had to see something like that before I go back. You got to have some kind of evidence to prove it. She was like, well, I didn't, but I'm still going. And I'm like, Jenny's hell bent on being stupid. Like, not being stupid, but being foolish at her big age. Like, she was like, oh, he's fighting for me. He chose me. I'm the one he loves. And I'm like, what are you excited about? You're excited because a married man chose you over his wife, who he lied to in this. So I just was like, Jenny. And I know there's a YouTuber, Auntie's Advice. I was watching her review, and she was like, nobody could be this stupid. Like, she was in complete disbelief. She was like, this has to be her and Submit doing this to get paid, because nobody could be this stupid. And I was like, I want to believe that as well, but I don't think it's stupidity. I think it's hard for us to believe that anybody could be this desperate and be this foolish. But Jenny probably really believes, because she said it. She said, this is my last chance at love. She said something to that effect and I think Jenny does not believe that she could ever find anybody else. She doesn't believe anyone else is going to want her, or she doesn't believe she can find love. I think what happened with her ex-husband leaving her, that must have crushed her self-esteem, crushed her self-image and her security, for you to get to a point where you are willing to accept this type of thing from a man. We've all made mistakes. We've all, but you got to learn to say, I deserve better. And for her to be at her age and not realize that is sad. So Submit, we see him talking to his brother, which is interesting. His brother's just helping him to move into the house that he found for him and Jenny. I don't know how he's paying for the house. Maybe he's working. He has to be. I'm like, how is he paying for the house? And he's moving furniture in there, his furniture. So I'm like, okay. Now, this house, he said, is old. It's not as nice as the apartment that they were in before, but it looks decent. It's not like a slum or something. His brother's helping him move in. He's sitting down talking to his brother, and his brother's like, again, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And society's not going to accept you. Similar thing like what his brother was saying. And he was like, listen, I was not happy. I was not happy in that marriage. When I was struggling in that marriage, did you help me? Did our parents help me? Did society help me? And his brother was like, no. And I'm like, when he says that, what does he mean? That he was just unhappy in the marriage? Was, what is he really just saying? Just that I was unhappy, or was something else going on? Was the girl abusive? Like what? So, but He's saying that he's happy with Jenny and he wants to be with her. And he said in his confessional that if his parents will not accept that he's with Jenny, then his parents don't have to be in his life. And I was like, is your father not helping you to pay that money back right now? Are you really ready to say that? But okay. And his brother was saying, you know, our parents, when your parents get older, like you're the oldest son, you're expected to take care of our parents when they get older. You're supposed to do everything they tell you. But and then that's when he started going on about how his parents weren't there for him when, and brother wasn't there for him, society wasn't there for him when he was struggling in his marriage. So I guess Sumit has made up his mind. I can't even say I hope he's not lying anymore. I don't know. But I don't know. It does seem that his parents are aware that he's gonna be moving with Jenny. So that since his brother knows, and the brother said that he will talk to their parents. He said, "I'm gonna try to talk to their parents and make them understand." And I was like, "Wow," because he volunteered that. Sumit didn't ask him to do that. He didn't say, "Can you please?" He volunteered that. He offered it. So I don't know if they're gonna allow that to be recorded, but if so, I would like to see it. So yeah. Um, for Jenny's sake, I hope this works out. Just because she clearly is not willing to let this go. She said that if it doesn't work out this time, it would destroy her. She didn't say she'd be done. Clearly, there's nothing he can do to make her be done. I mean, if being married, lying about being married, lying to his family, humiliating her on international television, allowing her to sell all her belongings and move over there was not enough. There's nothing else he could do. There's nothing. So Jenny's married to this guy already in her mind. So, yeah. So, okay, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing these live reviews every week. So far, the show seems all right. I mean, nothing really has happened yet. So, we'll see. And, yeah, thank you for watching. Bye, guys.